The sounds always came as I was drifting off. I tried recording them on my phone, but every clip captured only silence. I began staying up late, over-caffeinated, watching TV until my eyes burned. And maybe I was losing it. The apartment felt off, like it wasn't just a home, but something watching, waiting. One night, I had a dream, or it felt like one. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling again. The light was off, but the room glowed faintly, like moonlight filtered through fog, even though my window faced only bricks. I couldn't move, couldn't blink. Then I saw it, up in the corner by the vent. A shape, faceless. No eyes, no mouth, just a smooth gray surface where features should be. It crept down the wall like a spider, slow, quiet. I wanted to scream, but my body was paralyzed. As it neared the foot of the bed, I snapped awake, soaked in sweat. The lamp was out. The air was freezing. I sat there, watching the corner, heart pounding. Nothing was there, but that feeling stuck with me. The apartment wasn't just a building, it felt like a trap, a mouth waiting to shut, and I was already inside. The next few days passed in a fog. I didn't go out, hardly ate. I kept telling myself it was just a dream, a symptom of stress or exhaustion. But I knew, deep down I knew. The place felt like it was collapsing in on me. The walls looked closer every morning. I knew that couldn't be true, but when I stared too long, they seemed to shift, to breathe. Like the whole apartment was alive, watching. The whispers got clearer. At first, they were faint, like wind slipping through a gap, but soon I could almost understand them. Not real words, more like garbled speech, as if someone was trying to talk without a working mouth. Mostly they came at night, but sometimes in broad daylight too, when the world was silent. One afternoon, I sat on the couch and heard it. My name. Lucas. It was barely louder than breath. I stood up fast, heart thud. The sound had come from the wall behind me, the one separating the living room from the hall. I pressed my ear to it, straining to hear nothing. I opened the door, peeked into the hallway, empty. The lights flickered like usual, and the air smelled stale. I tapped the wall from the hallway, solid. No secret doors, no vents. Still, something was inside. I could feel it. That night, I tried something new, turned off every light, lit a candle, and sat in the living room center. I wanted to listen, really listen, to what came through. Minutes passed, then I heard it again. Lucas, come closer. The voice was cracked, brittle, like someone who hadn't spoken in decades. My hands trembled. I lifted the candle and walked toward the wall. Who's there? I whispered. No answer. Just a long exhale, like breath on the other side. I backed away, heart pounding, flicked on every light, and left them blazing till morning. But the voice didn't return. Not that night. Next morning, something strange. The living room window was wide open. I never open it. The latch is old and stiff, and I like it shut to keep out city noise. But there it was, blown wide, wind scattering papers off my table. I stared for a long time. Outside was still, silent. I shut and locked the window, then saw it. Scratched into the inside frame. One word. Stay. I froze. Had someone come in? Had I done that and forgot? I checked the apartment. Nothing out of place. No signs of forced entry. Everything felt too normal. I called the landlord, Mr. Dennis, explained what had been happening. He sighed. You're not the first to mention this, he said. What do you mean? I asked. Silence. Then if people don't stay in 3B for long, they say it's cursed or haunted. I don't know. It's an old building. Makes sounds. Did something happen? I pressed. Another pause. A guy used to live there. Quiet. One day he vanished. Left all his stuff? Cops never found him. His name? Carter. Carter Raines. Didn't ring a bell, but the idea someone had disappeared here chilled me. That night, the whispers came back. Louder. Sharper. I lay in bed, lights on, staring at the ceiling. The voice said, it's waiting. My body froze. Then a sound, scratching. Soft at first, then frantic. Nails clawing at the wall. I clamped my ears, shut my eyes, but it went on and on. Then, silence. I waited, slowly opened my eyes. The wall now had marks. Real scratches. 5 long gouges from ceiling to floor. I didn't sleep. Next day, I called a friend. Jordan. We hadn't hung out in a while, but I needed someone. I didn't want to be alone. He walked through, looked around. A man, this place is creepy. You okay? I showed him the scratches. He frowned. Looks like someone used a blade. He stayed. We played games, watched a movie. No whispers, no scratching. I almost relaxed. Jordan slept on the couch. I stayed in my room, door open, light on. I must have drifted off. I woke to Jordan shaking me. A dude. What's wrong with your walls? I blinked. Huh. He heard breathing. Then whispering. I thought it was you, but it came from inside the wall. It said my name. We stared at the walls. The apartment was quiet, too quiet. Jordan left the next morning, said he had work. But I knew he was scared. So was I. I started sleeping with headphones on, playing white noise. Sometimes it helped, sometimes not. The whispers leaked through the walls, the floor. They were everywhere. One night I woke, not from sound but feeling, like someone stood beside me. I opened my eyes. Dark room, lamp out, air heavy. I sat up. In the corner, something moved. Just a flicker, a shifting shadow. I stared, heart pounding. A Lucas, it whispered, right beside me. I jumped, flipped the light. No one there. But where the shadow had been, a handprint. Gray, ashy, no thumb, just 4 long fingers. I stepped back. Legs weak, I sat on the bed shaking. The apartment wasn't just haunted, it was alive, and it knew my name. Worst part, I was hearing the whispers outside now. At the store, at the park. On the street, always faint, always behind me. It was following. Whatever it wasn't in the walls anymore. It was in me, watching, waiting. Every time I thought it couldn't get worse, it did. After Jordan left, I tried being normal. Went out. Sat at cafes, took walks. Thought maybe, if I spent less time at home, it would stop. But wherever I went, I felt watched. The air heavier, the whispers never stopped. Alone or in crowds, even in daylight, I heard them. Sometimes from my own pockets. Like the voice was inside my phone or keys. One night, I sat on the floor looking around. The apartment looked the same, but something was different. I didn't feel alone. It felt like something had entered, crawled in through cracks, made itself comfortable. That's when the breathing started. I thought it was mine, but it didn't match my rhythm. It was slower, deeper, like something asleep, but watching. I heard it at night by the bed, then in the kitchen, the bathroom, always just outside my sight. I stopped using the mirror. It was wrong. My reflection lagged, blinked late, smiled when I didn't. Once it mouthed words I never said. I smashed it, shards everywhere like frozen stars. Felt better, for a moment. That night, I heard walking in the hall. Slow, dragging steps. I killed the lights. Sat in the dark with a kitchen knife. The steps stopped, right outside my door. Then a knock. Soft, polite. I didn't move. Held my breath. Another knock. Then a voice. Let me in. A child's voice. But wrong. Too perfect. Like someone pretending. But please, I'm lost. I stayed frozen. Then the voice changed, deeper, crueler. You can't hide from me, Lucas. I bolted. Locked myself in the bedroom. Lights on. Knife tight in hand. The knocking went on for hours, then stopped. Morning came. I found a paper under the door. Old. Yellow. A drawing of a face. No feet. Just 2 black eye holes and a wide, toothless mouth underneath. I see you when you sleep. I nearly moved out that day. Backed what I could. But something inside me clenched. Leaving wouldn't matter. This thing had already claimed me. I called my mom. Didn't say much. Just asked if I was ever strange as a kid. She paused. You used to talk to the walls. I blinked. What? When you were 5 or 6. He'd whisper to the corners. Said a friend was there. But you'd always say, he's not a friend, but he watches? Goosebumps. Why didn't you tell me? I thought it was imagination. You stopped eventually. I didn't want to scare you, but it was back. Maybe it never left. I researched. Ghosts. Demons. Spirits. Found stories like mine. About watchers. Shadows. One stood out. Is something called the Faceless. It haunted old places. Found lonely people. Whispered to them. Fed on fear. Had no face. So it were yours. The more I read, the worse it got. The whispers. The mirror. The feeling of being watched. It wasn't just haunting me. It was becoming me. One night, I woke to laughter. I turned on the lamp, looked down. Nothing. Sat up. In the mirror. Just for a second. I saw it. Pale. Featureless. Behind me. I turned. Empty. The mirror cracked. But that image burned into me. Smooth skin. Long arms. Hollow eyes. I vomited. Hands shaking. Curled on the couch. Lights on. Morning. Another message. This time on the ceiling above my bed. You are mine now. I barely moved. Just stared. Waiting. Watching. That night I fought back. Made a salt circle. Lit candles. Sat in the center holding the notebook. The one that said, it watches when the lights go out. I know you're here. I know you're watching. But you don't own me. The air turned ice cold. Candles flickered. Breathing. Right behind me. Oh, you can't take me, I said. The whispers rose. Dozens of voices. Oh, mine. Mine. Lucas. Stay mine. The shadow stretched. Walls curved inward. Then silence. Candles died. Total darkness. In it, I saw it. Standing there, faceless. It reached for me, but the salt held. It twitched, screeched. A sound that made my ears bleed. Then, it vanished. Lights returned. Room empty. I was alone, but it wasn't over. In the mirror, I started seeing its face. In my face. Bit by bit, rain tapped on the window. Only thing that grounded me. I hadn't slept properly in days. Didn't even know the time. Every clock in the place stopped. 3:33 a.m. I changed batteries. Bought new ones. All stopped. Same time. That number haunted me. I stayed in. Outside didn't feel safe either. I saw it once. Middle of the day. Across the street. Still, its skin was gray in sunlight. Its lack of a face. Wrong. Unreal. Neighbors got weird too. Mrs. Elkins used to say hi. Now just stared. Eyes empty. One night I spoke. "Hey, Mrs. Elkins." She turned slowly, like moving hurt. "You should leave, Lucas," she whispered. "He doesn't like it when you fight back." I blinked. "Who?" But she was gone. Door closed. I didn't knock. Didn't want answers. I tried the salt circle again. It failed. Candles blew out. Lights. Walls pulsed. When backup lights flicked on, I saw new writing. "The cracks are open. I am slipping through." I didn't know what cracks. But the air was thick now. Like water. My ears popped. Sometimes I heard echoes when I wasn't speaking. Then the ceiling leaked. Not water, something dark. Black. It stank of rot and burnt plastic. I called the building manager. He didn't even look. "There's nothing there, sir." I pointed. "Right there." He shook his head. "I don't see anything. I don't see anything." That's when I knew this was mine alone. Unless the thing wanted to be seen, no one else. I started recording. Most footage was blank, black. But once, just once, I caught it. A short video. 3 seconds. My phone turned on by itself, filmed me sleeping. Then for a moment, a shape leaned over me. Faceless. Pale, mouth open. I sent it to Jordan. On his end, it was static. He asked. I wanted to scream. Told him everything. "Come stay with me," he said. "Just for a while." I agreed. That night, I woke in the hallway, not in bed, wearing just a shirt and boxers. My apartment door shut. Locked. On it, scrawled in charcoal, "You can leave your home." But not me. My body ached all the time. My skin felt wrong, like something was crawling under it. My face looked less like mine every time I saw it. I finally went to stay with Jordan. He picked me up in his car, said I looked pale, like I hadn't seen the sun in weeks. I didn't tell him I had been avoiding mirrors more than sunlight. His place felt normal at first. Clean, warm, full of life. But on the first night, I saw a shadow move across the room, not outside, inside. Jordan was asleep. I was lying on the guest bed, staring at the ceiling, when the corner of the room darkened. It wasn't just a trick of light. It was like something had sucked the color out of the air. It whispered my name, Lucas. I sat up. "You can't be here." The shadow moved slowly, like liquid smoke. "You brought me with you." I lit a candle from the drawer Jordan had for emergencies. As soon as the flame caught, the shadow hissed and vanished. The next day, Jordan found claw marks on his bathroom mirror. He blamed his cat, but the lines were too straight, too deep. I told him I had to leave. He didn't argue, just gave me a hug and said, "I don't know what's going on, but please don't let it win." Back in my apartment, things were worse. Things were worse. The windows were blacked out from the inside. I couldn't see the street anymore. The lights flickered constantly. The walls were cold and damp. The air smelled like metal and smoke. But worst of all was the thing that had grown in the bedroom, a crack in the wall, at first. It looked like a small split in the plaster, but now it was wider, jagged, like something had torn its way through from the other side. I could see inside it. It wasn't a hole. It was a tunnel, pitch black, with faint whispers echoing from deep inside. Sometimes I saw fingers curling out of it. Sometimes I saw my own face staring back at me. But it didn't blink when I did. I knew this was where it lived, where it had been hiding all this time. I couldn't seal it. Every time I tried, the crack grew wider. I called a psychic, desperate. She came the next day, a woman in her 50s, soft-spoken and kind. But as soon as she stepped into the apartment, she froze. "Oh no," she said, her voice trembling. "You should not be here." "What is it?" I asked. "There's something ancient in this place, something hungry. It's not just haunting you, it's consuming you." She walked around, chanting softly, placing crystals and salt. Then she stopped in the bedroom. "That crack, it's a doorway. Can it be closed?" She looked at me sadly. Not from this side. Before I could ask what that meant, the lights went out. A scream filled the apartment. It wasn't hers. It came from inside the crack. Something rushed out of it. Smoke, darkness, shadows with teeth. The psychic screamed, backing away, but it was too late. The shadows grabbed her, pulled her toward the wall. She fought, kicking and shouting, but they dragged her into the crack. And then it closed, just like that. She was gone, only her necklace remaining, lying on the floor, warm to the touch. I couldn't breathe. The crack reopened later that night, pulsing like it had a heartbeat. I knew then this wasn't just a haunting anymore. It was emerging. It was trying to bring its world into mine, and it was using me as the door. I didn't sleep. I just waited for what I wasn't sure, but something was coming, and I didn't think I could stop it anymore. And go, I thought staying awake would keep it away, but I was wrong. Even when my eyes were open, the nightmares found me. The line between dreaming and waking had blurred. I couldn't tell what was real anymore. I would sit on the couch, gripping the edge, too afraid to move, while the apartment shifted around me. Sometimes the floor would seem to stretch, pulling away, like I was trapped in a tunnel. Other times the walls would breathe, slow and steady, like the building itself had lungs, and the crack, the thing that started it all, had grown. It was no longer just in the bedroom. There were now small splits across the living room wall, down the hallway, even inside the fridge. Thin, black lines, like veins, crawling outward, pulsing gently, almost alive. I stopped turning on the lights. They would only flicker and die. Candles were all I had left, but even those were unreliable now. Sometimes they burned black. Sometimes they